Welcome back. I'm Julia, and today we're going to broaden our two-part analysis verbal horizons a bit with a more challenging question. As is popular in these two-part analysis verbal questions, they'll often ask you to employ multiple different critical reasoning skills in a single problem, and there is no partial credit in data integration. So it's best to have a solid foundation in GMAT verbal before getting into this too much. I also have a video that features an easier question of this type, so check that out if you've got your verbal foundation built and you are ready to start prepping for data integration. Journalist. Atwood Furniture Company just released its new Lotus lamp for sale, a lamp that looks nearly identical to a distinctive original design that designer Zoe Obulu first unveiled 5 months ago on her website. No one from Atwood Furniture contacted Obulu for permission to use the design. Then again, corporate furniture makers are notorious for stealing the designs of independent artists and manufacturing items based on those designs without attribution, consent, or compensation. Select the consideration that, if true, would most weaken the assertion that Atwood Furniture stole the Lotus lamp design from Obulu, and the inference that could then be drawn from that consideration. Make only 2 selections, 1 in each column. In the apparently cutthroat world of furniture design, this newly released lamp closely resembles an indie designer's lamp that was released 5 months prior on her website. The journalist thinks Atwood brazenly stole her lamp design, a recurring issue in this industry. We need to find the statement that will weaken the journalist's assertion, and then we need to find an inference that could be drawn if that weakening consideration were true. Sometimes on the two-part analysis questions, they'll ask for 2 independent answers, and sometimes they'll ask for answers that stack like this. When we're looking for an independent answer and a second answer that's dependent on the first part, make sure you're doing it in the correct order. Seems simple enough, but test stress and timing constraints can make us forget the basics if we're not careful. Let's look at these choices. A. The journalist has routinely accused companies of illegally appropriating designs, at times without citing compelling evidence. This does make the journalist potentially seem less reliable, but it's not a weakener. B. The existence of 2 nearly identical designs can at times be coincidental and not indicative of theft. This doesn't really weaken the argument either. C. Companies that steal designs from artists often do so because they are unlikely to be prosecuted. This isn't a weakener. D. The factory that manufactures light fixtures for Atwood Furniture takes 9 to 12 months to create and ship a batch of products based on a new design. This weakens the argument. If Zoe posted her lamp to her website 5 months ago, but the time horizon for production is 9 to 12 months, then Atwood would have had to already put in their order for production before Zoe posted her lamp design to her website. E. The Lotus lamp contains similar mechanical apparatuses to other lamps in Atwood's collection. This isn't a weakener either. Now that we've found our weakener in D, let's go back and review the other answers with this in mind and see if we can find an inference. So, A. The journalist has routinely accused companies of illegally appropriating designs, at times without citing compelling evidence. This also isn't an inference that could be made with D in mind. Cross this one all the way off. B. The existence of 2 nearly identical designs can at times be coincidental and not indicative of theft. This is an inference that's fully supported. If D is true, perhaps both Zoe and Atwood were similarly influenced by a big shakeup in the lamp world, but they do seem to have come to their similar designs in a pretty close timeline of 3 to 6 months. C. Companies that steal designs from artists often do so because they are unlikely to be prosecuted. This also isn't an inference based on the weakening choice. D, the factor that manufactures light fixtures for Atwood furniture takes 9 to 12 months to create and ship a batch of products based on a new design. So, sometimes on a two-part analysis question, the answer to both columns will be the same, but this can't be both a statement that weakens the assertion and also an inference based on the statement. So it's not our second choice. E, the Lotus lamp contains similar mechanical apparatuses to other lamps in Atwood's collection. This isn't an inference that follows from D. Best answer is going to be D for the first column and B for the second column. That one was a bit more challenging. As I said, if you feel shaky on any of the question parts, such as the weakening conclusions or finding inferences featured in this two-part analysis, I do have some other videos that show how to solve critical reasoning questions by type, and they might be useful for you. Keep practicing, and I will see you next time.